This was a much bigger project than we ever anticipated. And after 3 trips to Home Depot, 1 trip to Lowe's, some cutting into our countertops, scaring the dogs half to death with all of the noise of the drill, we have a beautiful finished product, and we could not be any happier with the results. Then we finished the evening off with a wonderful dinner of krapow. So stay tuned. Boy, oh boy, we had no idea how difficult installing this new sink was going to be when we started. Oh, stay tuned. It's our sink demo. We have the old sink, it's plastic, but we knew that was plastic. And it's kind of grody, but yeah, here's the old sink. She's out. We're gonna get a different one. I want single sink because that 2 sink thing is not it. So anyway, it's a pretty good size opening. So hopefully we can find a sink, and then we want a faucet that comes out that's useful. So Dale took the sink out, and I have been scraping off the putty and who knows what this is, like some weird funky glue they used. So we're gonna get all that off and then head to Home Depot. I was so excited after going to 3 different Home Depots to find a sink that I thought was gonna fit into the opening. It fit, but it took up so much of the counter that I was not comfortable with that. So we had to return it and order one from Amazon. Once we returned the sink that didn't fit, we had to install the old sink. But we'd already cut the PEX tubing, so Dale got these shut-off valves so we could reconnect and install the old sink just temporarily. We just set it in there while we waited for the sink from Amazon, because it is impossible to find a sink. I went to Camping World, any RV place I could think of. I called around kitchen supply places, and even Ferguson, kitchen and bath stuff. So yeah, I mean, if we wanted to start over with a whole new counter, well, we could have had any sink we wanted, but we wanted to work with what we had. So it was just easy to find one from Amazon. There was one singular sink on Amazon that fit that I was able to find. So I'll link it down below in case you're interested and you need a sink.
This one here, it catches, and then releases when it's on there tight now.
We have quite the mess going because we are installing a sink. Well, by we, I mean Dale. So we have everything from underneath the sink on the floor, and then of course the tool bench, as we call it, is open. All the stuff, the sink, and then everything on the counters. But here we go. It was such a tight squeeze that it took so much just little cuts with the jigsaw to make sure we didn't cut too much, because we have millimeters where the sink fits. We cut any extra and it's gonna not fit in here. So we need to leave as much countertop as possible. And the old sink had big lips, so the little one has, or the new one has little, and so it's barely, you can see this is the line where it goes right here, and then up here. So we have the faucet in, and then Dale's gonna put the sink in and then figure out what he wants to do with all the plumbing down here. It's a little dusty. I keep vacuuming, but we keep having to cut, so that's what we got going on. So we had to cut a new hole for the faucet also, because the old sink, it's over here, it had the hole for the the faucet and then the lines where you turn it on. So yeah, this is what we're doing. We started this early-ish on Sunday morning. Dale wanted to get going right away, but of course there was like all kinds of stuff that didn't make it easy, like the sink. So anyway, that's the progress so far. Totally worth it though. It looks so good when we had the sink in, just set in there. It looks so good. We dropped the sink in, so this faucet has a weight, so it's gonna sit up, you know, in its home like that. But yeah, it looks so much better than the stupid little sink that was in here. It was awful. You couldn't fit anything in it. So I mean, this is like, you could give Tucker dog a bath size. Oh yeah, here it is. Look, Dale's gonna put it over here. Look at how ugly that sink was. I mean, besides the fact that it's just like stained and then melted all over the place, and it's just, this is the side I had to use because the faucet was on this side, so it didn't put water over here, so I don't even know what this side was for. So I had to use this little tiny thing. You could put 2 like coffee cups in it. Seriously, look, you put 1 coffee cup in here. There's the old faucet. Yeah, see, that's how it was. Isn't that awful? Awful. So yeah, thankfully Dale put this in for me today because, man, it's kind of been in the works. It was hard to find. Oh yeah, here with the cup in the new sink. There we go. But yeah, it was tough to find a sink that fit really without having to redo everything. And actually, we pondered for, I don't know, what, half an hour maybe today on just ripping the counter out and then going and buying a new one from Home Depot, because we're gonna do like butcher block. So we had it all planned out. Dale figured out how we're gonna do it, but when we do that, we're gonna take out the oven, because the stove doesn't work to begin with. Well, the oven doesn't work. The stovetop works, but we have induction cooktops, and then Dale even suggested like one of those like 2-burner RV stoves. So we might get one of those. I haven't decided, but I use induction cooktop all the time in the trailer. The propane works out really well if you like boondock or pull over somewhere, because you can just turn on the propane. You don't have to start a generator or whatever. So we might get a little one of those like recessed little 2-burner things, but then also use the induction cooktop, but then have, you know, lots of counter space, because we want to orientate the sink this way. So then it leaves all of this for counter space also, because we would be removing this. Oh, also today too, we took down the, well, again, Dale, took down the Naugahyde piece. So this used to be up here, and I hated it. So now it's just bare wood, but we'll get a piece of plywood and cut it like this. So when I paint the cabinets, then I'll just paint that. So that's, I'm happy about that. We have the finished product. It looks so good. I love it. I love it. There's so much space, and my little dish thing, got this from Marshall's or whatever, but yeah, it's it fits, and then there's still like so much space right here. So yeah, I love it, because it has made my life so much easier. The whole thing swivels, it moves, it, you know, retracts, the whole thing. So I love it. We've had a busy day, so I'm going to make some krapow, which is basically, well, it's Thai, but it's ground meat with typically Thai chilies. You can also substitute those for red bell peppers, which is what I'm going to do, and then a little jalapeno for heat and some basil. But I'm going to start by cooking the rice in our rice cooker. I'm going to rinse my rice first. We should always rinse your rice. Add that to the rice cooker, and then we use bottled water in anything that we absorbs water, basically, and I'm just gonna fill that up to its appropriate line. While this is cooking, we'll make the ground meat mixture. I'm gonna use my little chopper for the veggies, because I can do a smaller dice. So I'm going to do the red bell peppers. If you don't have one of these choppers, they're pretty nifty. 2 medium-ish bell peppers. And then I have 1 jalapeno that I took the seeds and stems out of. Or, yeah, seeds and ribs out of. And then the recipe calls for a shallot, but I have red onion, so this is about 1/4 of a red onion. About 4 cloves of garlic. I also have a little garlic chopper, which is kind of fancy, but you just... But mincing garlic is no fun. We're going to start by cooking up our veggies. We're going to put a little drizzle of some olive oil in the pan. We're going to cook this on a high temperature. Let this oil get warm here. And we're going to throw in all of our veggies here. And our garlic. Cook this until the veggies get a little tender. While the meat is browning, we are going to make our sauce that we're going to stir into the meat. We're going to start with 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And then 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. And a tablespoon of oyster sauce. Approximately. It's cold. And then it calls for a teaspoon of sugar. We don't have any sugar, so we're going to use a teaspoon of agave. We're going to give it a little mix. Some water. Give it a little mix. Now that our meat is nice and brown and our veggies are tender, we're going to put in our sauce. And I have drained any grease off. Ours is pretty lean because it's grass-fed. We're going to throw in that sauce and keep the heat cranked up to high until this reduces down. And because the heat's on high, it should reduce pretty quickly. While that sauce is reducing, we are going to fry up a couple of eggs. Our sauce is reduced quite a bit, so I'm going to throw in, basically the star of the show is a bunch of basil. This is just regular basil. You can find Thai basil, then that works out better, but we're just going to stir it in, let it wilt. Now we're going to plate it up. We're going to take some of our rice, put a nice couple of spoonfuls on the bottom of our bowl here. We're going to take some of our meat mixture, place it on top. Very pretty. And easy. I mean, you can add, I've seen green beans, you can add green beans. Throw your eggs that we cooked on top. Make sure that the yolks are nice and runny, and you're ready to eat.